Discussion is on beauty trends in Indonesia, and this is a topic that's quite close to my heart because over a period of time, we've been working with a number of different clients in the area of personal care category, and we've been observing the changes in the beauty industry over the past few years, and felt that this is a good time to sort of share with you our learnings. So what we're going to do today is to share with you what we have seen in the market based on our observations in the market. It's also corroborated by some of the quantitative learnings that we have. So we'll unpack both of these qualitatively as well as quantitatively. And hopefully it's a topic of interest to all of us, especially for our women clients who are particularly interested in beauty and all of that. So hopefully it should keep us all engaged for the next 1 hour. So I'm going to get started now, Messi. So let's start. So the first thing I wanted to say is, if you look at the images on the left side, I don't know, Messi, do you recognize any of these people here? You know, are they somebody you know? Are they celebrities? Who are they?
I think they are not celebrity. I have seen them. It is in one of the web series in YouTube. So basically, this is like a documentary. So it highlights about inner beauty of Indonesian women. So interestingly, this picture is captured by one of the popular musician in Indonesia. If you know Tompi. So he is the one who captured Indonesian women in each province in Indonesia and then make the documentary. So that's a bit background about this picture.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for that, Messi. I think this is the program is titled Paras Chantika. I think I don't know how popular it is, but I think it just by looking at the concept of Paras Chantika, it made us feel like, you know, this is a very interesting topic of conversation in the industry today, and where beauty is being redefined by women. So what we feel is that Indonesia is a collection of islands, right? So there are many different cultures, many different kinds of people who live in Indonesia. So to pressure women to subscribe to one standard of beauty is quite a difficult thing to do, and not fair at all for the women in Indonesia, right? So if you look at it and you say, oh, beauty all is about fair skin and long hair and straight hair and all of that, that's not right, isn't it? Because women come in different forms of beauty in Indonesia, and I think this program is powerful because it is looking at beauty in all its angles. And it's also talking about how beauty and the definition of beauty is changing over time. It talks about external beauty as well as internal beauty. It talks about beauty in its, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. You know, like this musician and the photographer you're talking about, he's the one who's sort of looking at beauty in all angles and has displayed that in the documentary. He talked about also the fact that women who are beautiful are not only beautiful externally, but also carry a personal charisma, the personality, a sort of social impact they have among the people around themselves. You know, one of the ladies here is actually a fisherwoman. You know, so she has grown up she's come up from a very humble background, made it big, and she's sort of a source of inspiration for a lot of women. So beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, and it is not just decoded from the way you see, but also the way you perceive beauty, from how you sense the person, the inner aspects of beauty, the inner glow. In Indonesia, very often, you know, you would have heard the term aura, you know, so that inner aura that women carry who are beautiful, all of that sort of defines what beauty is, and it's multidimensional. So our attempt in this particular webinar is to look at the trends of beauty and unpack it through the lens of semiotics and neuroscience. I don't want to get too technical here, but I just want to give a short example of what we mean by semiotics and what we mean by neuroscience. So we'll do that through a small interactive exercise, Messi. So like I said, we're going to deconstruct beauty and its definition through semiotics and neuroscience. As an example, I'll start with this, So what do you see on the screen, Messi?
I see apple with leaf actually.
Right.
Yeah,
What colors do you see?
Red apple and green leaves.
Red apple and green leaf. Okay. And anything else do you see other than the apple being red in color?
It is shiny.
Okay.
It has like spots as well on the apple skin.
Right. So how do you imagine the apple would taste?
I think it will be sweet because the color is red and also it's shining. It has spots as well, so it cues the apple is ripe, I think.
Yeah, apple is ripe. It is. And what about the green leaf? What does it tell you?
Freshness.
Freshness. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a fresh apple. It's a ripe apple. And what do you imagine the taste to be like other than being fresh?
It is sweet.
Right. Okay. And how does it feel in your mouth as you're biting into it?
It gives freshness. It's watery.
Yeah, it's juicy, you meant.
Yes,
Okay.
juicy. I mean.
Right. Okay. How does that make you feel? The taste, all of that juiciness, the freshness. What does it say to what do you feel in your head? In your body or your taste buds. What's the feeling it gives? How would you describe the feeling?
It makes me feel fresh. I think like full of spirits, fresh, because the taste is fresh, right?
Okay. So in this short exercise, what we have seen is the Messi telling us that the apple color is red. She immediately said it's an apple. It's red in color. She also talked about the green leaf. So if you look at it from a perspective of just what the visuals are telling you, it is a red apple. Sorry, just a second. Hello? Yes, sir. I'm in the middle of the webinar. Supriya, is there something wrong? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Messi, there's an echo, I believe, happening. So when I'm talking, can you mute yourself? Yeah. Okay. So the apple is red in color. The leaves are green. So you're describing it to me just by looking at the picture, and you're interpreting that, right? So what you're doing is the red stands for something in your head. The green stands for freshness, for example. And you sort of constructed a meaning around all of this based on just by looking at the picture, right? So that picture is basically, it's telling you the red means ripeness and freshness, or green means freshness. All of that is a meaning that's constructed by you. And this understanding the meaning that symbols communicate is called, the study of that is called semiotics. Okay. So you not only did that, Messi, what you also did was you took that forward, and that color and the meaning and the shape of the apple and so on and so forth, it's created a certain impression in your mind. It sent out certain signals to your brain, and your brain felt fresh. It felt like if you eat this, you will feel spirited, you feel alive, you feel you feel like buoyant, all of that was happening. So it's not just the apple, but also what the apple made you feel in your brain. So the first part, which relates to the red color, green color, is called semiotics. Semiotics is a study of symbols and signs, and how the brain constructs meaning around these based on your cultural upbringing, your context in which you are in, and so on. However, that itself is not enough. It also has an impact on your brain. It tells you what it creates signals in your brain, which then leads to a certain impression. And yeah, so it creates an impact on your brain, and that is the study of that impact is called the neuroscience. Okay, so it's semiotics plus neuroscience, both of which we want to look at today to understand the beauty trends in Indonesia from these angles. I believe there's an echo. Apologies for that. Don't know why the echoes are happening. So I don't know if it's, we'll just proceed because we can't stop the webinar for this reason. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to do. There's an echo, I believe, but.
Sufi, he doesn't know why it is happening. Could you ask everyone else to mute and just try?
Messi, can you ask everyone in the audience to mute if you don't mind?
Okay, let me check.
Where is Messi sitting? Oh, that's why.
Okay. Okay, everyone, could you please mute your audio?
He's speaking, you stay on mute. Like that.
Yeah, Messi, maybe because you're sitting next door, maybe that's why the new echo is happening. Why don't you just step out into the main room while I continue my presentation, okay? And you join in from the boardroom. All right. Sorry about that. So the first trend that we are going to talk today is called the skin minimalism. I don't know if this term is familiar to all of you, but minimalism, I think it's a word that's often used in Indonesia. And from my point of view, I think the way minimalism is defined is that it's about decluttering. It's basically about using one color or or in the context of, for example, interior decoration, you are making sure that the space is clean and simple. You know, there's not much, too much of color, not too much, it's simple, it's clear, it's not crowded, and therefore it is minimalistic. So Messi, minimalism in Bahasa, what does it mean?
It's minimalist.
So minimalist,
yes.
Okay, what does it mean? How does it, can you explain this a little bit?
It's like not too much, yeah. It's simple, simple but still look good, like look elegant. So for example, like the house decor is minimalist, so it's not too much attribute or too much color, so it looks neat, simple, something like that.
Okay. So that's the first trend. Even in the case of beauty, nowadays women in Indonesia are looking for what is called minimalism. So what we mean by that is using less to achieve more. Earlier in the past, they used to use the beauty regime consisted of, say, 7 steps or 8 steps. Now that's been reduced to 3 or 4 fundamental steps like cleansing, moisturizing, and exfoliating, the more fundamental, more basic ones. And also when you're using cosmetics, it's not so much about color, you know, it's more about your natural look. So when you say natural look, you bring out the freshness, the glow, the health of your skin, all of that, you let it shine through. It is not about made up beauty, it's more natural beauty. It's also the power of the harnessing the power of nature and multi-purpose products. These days, women are looking for not specialist products. You know, they're looking for one product which can do multiple functions. And then women are also saying these products are not only about me, but also have to be sustainable, environmentally friendly, beauty that is caused by using these products must last longer. So they're also talking about longevity, lasting longer, sustainability, and so on and so forth. So that sort of sums up the first trend, which is called skin minimalism. So in a nutshell, it is about people doing fewer things and wanting less, expecting more from less. So that is what is the first trend. And what we'll do now is to try and give you an example which will allow us to understand this better. But before I get to the example, quantitatively also, we found that there's a fair degree of movement towards skin minimalism. 49% of the people wanted multi-purpose products. 38% of the people 49% wanted minimalism. 38% preferred multi-purpose products. There's a growth of 27% of the consumers in the past 2 years who are looking for multi-purpose products. So that's also based on a quantitative study. So the example that I wanted to sort of share with you is that I think there is a participant who wants to ask a question. Messi, Rajiv, can you unmute Rajiv?
Sriram, you should make me a co-host first.
I did that already, right?
Not yet.
Oh yeah, because you left. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Who want to ask question?
Rajiv raised.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
I already unmute Rajiv.
So Rajiv, please ask or type in your question, okay, while I continue. Okay, all marketing elements. So when you do this quantitative study, what it tells us is, if you have to make use of minimalism, all the marketing elements that you do for your brand, whether it's the product, packaging, advertising, whatever it is, it needs to all come together and communicate the concept of minimalism. So I give you an example of how this has been demonstrated by one of the products that we've seen in Indonesia. So I'm going to play in this. Yeah, I'm going to play an ad, and I want you to watch this ad keenly, okay? And then we'll discuss it. Yeah, so that was an unusual ad, right, Messi?
Yeah, because there is no sound.
Yeah, this deliberately is an ad where they've left out sound. What else did you see, Messi?
I see the product, the packaging, and also like the water drop. I think that's the product.
Yeah. What did they say to you about the product without saying loudly?
I think they would like us to focus on the product and also on the packaging.
So what is?
Yeah, I think the product looks very clear. It's like less chemical.
Right.
So I think what they want to say about their product is it contains natural ingredient, it's clear, less chemical.
What else did they say when they are applying it on the skin?
It looks easier to absorb.
Right. Okay. So there's a lot of things that you said, Messi, even without them telling you loudly through a voice. Two is they didn't even show people, right? There was no music, there was no people, there was no story. Everything was about the packaging and the product. So what they've done is in communicating this product, they've cut out all the senses. They've taken out voice, they've taken out characters, they've taken out anything else external to the product. Besides the packaging and product, they've removed all the other elements. So the design of the creative itself was minimalistic. And what is even more interesting is that it has if you look at the packaging, all of the packs have this transparent blue color. The packaging has absolutely no what do you call, no visuals. There's nothing more. Unnecessary stuff is not there. There's no icon, there's no visual, there's no picture, nothing. There's no sound, no drama in the packaging as well as advertising. The product is thick, watery, and gel-like, and it gets absorbed really fast, like you rightly said. It has the packaging has clean lines, the typology is straight, and it's got a appealing, transparent, bright blue packaging. Okay, so now all of this is all about minimalism. So it's not just the product, but the way the product is communicated is also around the theme of minimalism. I think this is an increasingly a big trend going on in Indonesia. So if you have to do this, and if you have to, I mean, putting myself in the shoes of the brand manager who wants to leverage the idea of minimalism, what do you do then? How do you make sure that your product is up to the mark or the advertising is up to the mark? So what I wanted to say is that nowadays there's so many things that you could do, and one of the things that we do is very often is use the EEG devices to see how people feel about your product. Do they really feel that your product is minimalism? It is all about being minimalistic. So we can do that across various steps, whether it's the smell or whether it's the color or it's the feeling on the skin. So we can use EEG device to understand how people are experiencing the product at each stage, and that and not just the product, but also what it makes them feel. Like initially when we talked about how symbols or signs or appearance of something sends out a signal to your brain. Here, when you see something, the brain releases some chemicals, right? So understanding the response, understanding the neurochemical response, which is the neuroscience, will tell you how successful your product would going to be in the market when it's finally presented. So that product test can give you results in the areas of what's called the familiarity, which means this is what I know and I recognize, I'm familiar, this is what I like, this is what I believe I want to use, or I believe it would work, I would like to go out and buy it. So along those three dimensions, you get results even without talking to the customer. Consumers don't have to speak and say what they're feeling. The machine is able to understand and understand the signals that are happening in the brain through the release of neurochemical substances. So, and then you get an overall score. I don't want to go into the technicalities, but I wanted to say that, look, if you want to understand whether or not your product is minimalistic, we can't just ask people because words are a bit limited. So we have to use, in this case, we could use technology to recognize the brain responses. So likewise, for example, if your product is compared with some other products, here you see that product P is doing very well in the overall score. It is not so great on familiarity because it's an unusual product. So it's an unfamiliar product and therefore lower on familiarity. But that doesn't mean that they're put off by it. They like it very much. So they're appreciating it. And it's also scoring better on persuasion. So even though it's unfamiliar, it is liked and people want to buy it. So that's a good way of understanding how people would react to it in the real life. Now, then you can further divide that across different stages of the product, like the smell, the looks, and the feeling on the skin, and whether you said it dries up fast, right? It gets absorbed fast. So after a few minutes of application, what does your skin feel? What does the texture feel? All of that can be understood at each stage. Understand the product in isolation and also in relation to other competitors. So you get a vastly rich output, and that is just the machine output, right? Now combine that with all of the qualitative research that we do. We ask people, what did you feel at each stage? Tell me the experience. So they also describe the experience. So you have rich verbatims combined with output from EEG together makes for wonderful insights. So just wanted to say that, if your product is minimalistic, this is one way of understanding whether it's delivering on the strategy of minimalism or not. Okay, so that sort of completes our first trend. Before I dive into the remaining trends, I want you to look for any questions or comments, Messi.
Yeah, I think there is no question in the chat box.
Okay. All right. Okay. Then if there are no questions, then I'll move forward.
Yeah.
What I wanted to talk about is the next trend, which is called skin rehabilitation and protection. So we've been protection, right, Messi? I mean, we've gone through the pandemic in the last couple of years, and so all of us are very much interested in protecting ourselves from attacks from infections and other things. Yeah. So that is what has also been noticed in the area of skincare and beauty. So people have become extra protective about their skin. In fact, nowadays we learned that the sales of cosmetics have come down and the use of skincare products has gone up during the pandemic. People are saying much more today are more sensitive to the idea of microbes or bacteria or strong UV rays or pollution causing harm to the skin. So they want to really deeply nourish and care for the skin. When we talk to women, you also hear women very freely talking about chemical terms like free radicals and balancing the skin and good bacteria, bad bacteria. It was all part of the digestion and milk and all that. But now that's moved. The conversation is not limited to just food. It's also about skin. They're saying food for the skin, good bacteria for the skin, bad bacteria for the skin. How do you protect and nourish your skin, and so on. So in fact, there's some products that are already there in the market, like skincare creams with antibacterial properties. So women are increasingly looking at how to protect their skin from harm. So everybody's realizing that beauty is not just about making it up on the external, it's also protecting from internal, fight, and the product should be able to fight the external threats. So that's the second big trend. So this trend also is noticed and in the quantitative study that we did, the highest level of concern is with respect to UV rays, and then pollution, excessive sun exposure, followed by want to eat the right kind of food, bad lifestyle, sleep well. They keep saying we have to sleep well and rest well and have enough water and drink water to maintain our skin health. So all of that is corroborated through the quantitative study. And people, more than about 49% of the people want to really take care of the skin. So if you have to leverage that need, how do you communicate skin protection? Yeah, that's different from just saying, oh, this is a healthy skin. It's more about how will you protect your skin from external damage. So how will you do it? So I'm just going to again understand this through an example here. This brand is called Azarin, and I'm going to play the advertisement for it.
Di luar panas nih. Sudah sedia payung? Wah, mendung. Sudah sedia payung? Sedia payung dulu sebelum hujan. Sedia payung? Terus kalau bukan sedia payung, sedia apa dong? Sebelum cuaca apapun, sedia Azarin Hydra Suit Sunscreen Gel. Dengan tekstur ringan, tidak lengket, dan no white cast, melindungi kulitmu dari sinar UVA dan UVB dalam kondisi cuaca apapun. Sunscreen for sunscreen haters. Jadi, sudahkah kamu sedia Azarin Hydra Suit Sunscreen Gel? Azarin.
So Messi, let me do a little bit of ball exercise on you. So what did you see and hear in this ad?
I see the actress. She's
What's
the
her name?
popular actress Natasha Wilona.
Okay.
I see yellow background.
Yeah. What does yellow stand for?
Bright, sunshine,
Okay.
brightness.
Sure.
Yeah. It's talk about umbrella as well. I think umbrella is accused of protection.
Right. Okay. Anything else?
If we are talking about the storyline, the actress looks uncomfortable at first, like she looks bete, like not in a good mood, and then when the product comes, the face expressions change, so she looks happy.
Yeah. Why was she worried at the start?
I think because like worried about the weather, because it's talk about the weather as well.
Right. Okay. Unpredictability of weather,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. So what you just said is that she's an endorser, she's a celebrity. There was a problem to begin with. There's unpredictability of the weather, sunshine, or then it's a very unpredictable. Even in Jakarta, that's very true, right? Weather, sometimes very hot, sometimes it's very dusty. Outside things, there is a lot of suddenly it starts raining, and your skin goes through a lot of this stress because of heat or air conditioning or a number of things, right? Now, what they've done is that they've also used the umbrella, like you rightly said, as a metaphor for protection. The moment the umbrella comes up, her life is full of, she's smiling and it's full colorful and all of that, so there's a problem and a solution narrative there. And you also see blue sky and blue clouds, and basically to say that, the problem has been solved. So you are able, your skin is able to breathe, and you can go out there and expose yourself without feeling uncomfortable or without feeling unprotected. So that's how they've done it, and they've used the colors, the yellow color, the packaging is yellow to communicate, that it's an outdoorsy sort of product, and it is much more about exposing your skin to external environment. So how do you know whether it's working or not? And if you do again EEG advertising test, you get results like this, right? So you will know which parts of the ad is engaging, which parts of the ad is interesting, which part of the ad is confusing, and also maybe there are some parts which are boring. Yeah. So you will be able to understand that even without me doing an interview with you, Messi, if I make you see the ad while the EEGs, you're wearing your electroencephalogram device, it will be able to recognize your signals in the brain and give you output like this. Then we can do a deeper one by using eye tracking. We are able to get into each frame and understand how each scene is working or not working, which parts of the scenes are engaging, which parts of the scenes are disengaging, and why. So with the help of, for example, they're puzzled, right? And the scene number 8, she's puzzled. The respondent is, the audience is puzzled. They don't know why she's puzzled. Why are they puzzled? We don't know. But we know that for sure that area, they're looking at her face. The umbrella had come up, and there is some degree of intrigue. Oh, what is this umbrella doing here? Maybe that was what was going on in their mind. And so you get frame by frame analysis like that, and you're able to then ask consumers. Oh, we feel that's maybe frame number 8 or frame number 14. At that point, you seemed puzzled, and what caused the confusion? What was the reason for that? And then you get qualitative response for different scenes in the ad, and you combine the conscious qualitative response with the unconscious machine response, and together form what is called the holistic insight. So yeah, so that completes the second round. I just wanted to do a little bit of poll, and Messi, please help me with this.
Yeah.
So we talked about use of technology in the first 2 trends, right? We're using EEG, we used eye tracking, we used EEG in product testing, we used EEG in advertising testing, eye tracking, and advertising testing. So we've used a lot of technology. So I want to understand for the audience, from the audience perspective, where is the market research future going to lie? So start the poll, Messi.
Okay, so here is the question: market research in the future. So
will not need any human interaction. Everything would be automated. Or technology will complement traditional research for better insights and richer insights. Yeah, let's end the poll and publish the results, Messi, if everybody's voted.
Yeah, wait a moment. Yeah. Okay, I think everyone are ready.
Yeah.
Give the answer, so I will end the poll and share the result. Okay.
So 85% feel that combination of technology and human interaction is very much important to deliver the insight. I think that's very much in line with what we were also thinking, isn't it? Technology cannot replace astute understanding by a skilled qualitative practitioner. To understand how consumers are responding, of course you need the technology, but more importantly and equally important is also somebody skilled who's able to understand and interpret that human insight. I think, yeah, that's heartening to know that the audience also feels that way. So with that, we'll move into our third trend. So I'm going to, you can close the results. Yeah.
Yes, already.
I'll move to the third trend. Yeah. Okay. third trend is about deep skin nourishment and penetration. Yeah, so this is not surface level nourishment people are looking for. They're looking for stories and efficacy. It's become, the expectations from people have vastly changed over a period of time. They're expecting skin to be treated really well, and they're expecting a lot more results that are faster, longer lasting, and they want, they just don't want you to make a superficial claim. They actually want you to prove, you know, as a brand, you have to prove why you are more efficacious. The term sandwiching is quite common, which is about trapping water without it being evaporated, or trapping nutrition without it being lost. So use of terms like moisture lock, continual action, restoration, deep repair. These are common terms that we hear a number of brands talking about. Not just brands, you know, you also have different formats. For example, serums are supposed to be more about penetration, going deep within, and, you know, altering the skin structure. Like serums used in the night are better, you know, they help restore skin's health. There are products for daytime also. There's specialist product for daytime as well. So there are lots of different things are going on, and around all of this is the thing around saying my product will go deep within and create a change which is good for your skin. So it is all about deep nourishment and influencing the skin structure. Now this again, like I did for the last two, I'm going to explain this through an example. But before that, 51% of our respondents in quantitative said they need skin nourishment products. 40% prefer beauty products that have deep penetrative action. There's an increase of 47% of people who wanting serums. Serums as a format is becoming more popular. People are looking for advanced, sophisticated products which are path-breaking, which are revolutionary. You know, they're expecting a lot more from skincare. And one such example that I'm going to give you now, and just see the ad and the way they have communicated sophistication to you, and let's watch it quietly first, and then I'll ask you questions like to Messi. So this is I mean, of course, all of us know this brand, so I'll play this advertisement.
A new beginning. Our next revolution in skincare is here. New advanced night repair from Estee Lauder. New fast visible repair. New youth generating power. Skin is radiant, hydrated, plumped. In just 3 weeks, lines appear reduced. And now skin feels firmer with just one bottle. Wake up every day to your most beautiful skin. New advanced night repair. Only from Estee Lauder.
Yeah. So Messi, what did you see and hear, and what messages did you take out?
I see in the first part, the screen is all dark, and then there is a shine cam, and then the products after that. Yeah, it's talking about a new beginning.
Right. Okay. And how does it act on the skin?
I think it's just I think with this TVC it looks like they want to say that the products can repair the dark, like all the problems, and then yeah, that's why it suddenly come, the shine came, and then the products with gold sparkling.
Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting. So they use a lot of light here. This ad, they use light and they use music also very effectively. So what they've done is, if you were to do a semiotic analysis, you will see that the product rises like as if sun is rising, like it's a new day, it's a new dawn, a new, like you said, it's like a revolution. If you, I don't know if you remembered the music was as if it's welcoming a new change, you know, it's like a new phase of life. And it's also used the light and the shadows and the darkness very effectively. So they communicated night repair, and they showed the dark background, but they also showed light. So they showed us being transported from darkness to light. If you look at the last scene, it's also like a halo around the brand, right? The brand packaging, and almost something is behind it. It's got that halo, and it seems like almost supernatural. And then they say, oh, we do this work within a short period of time. They've also used the light on the skin, without saying much. You also notice that light, right? The light is going into the skin, and there's something going on in the skin. Yeah, so the sparkling, crackling energy. It seems futuristic. It seems high tech, and it seems like the energy is going inside and making those sleepy cells wake up, and stimulated cells, repairing the skin. So overall, that is how they've done it effectively. Use of music and the light and the shine and so on. And so if you were to, how do we? If you ask, when I asked you the questions, Messi, you yourself, you're an unusual respondent, right? You're not just a normal, regular consumer. But even in your case, you had forgotten a lot of things. You had initially did not mention a lot of things, right? But it doesn't mean that you haven't understood it or not registered it. A lot of things are registered at a subconscious level, right? So, for example, you did not play back the music at all, but then music has played a very strong but an intrinsic role. It's not, people are not going to tell you what about the music, but they absorbing the music with the pictures and the scenes, and that is making them feel a certain way. So typical, one of the things that we also use is, other than EEG and eye tracking, we also sometimes, for some ads like this, we also look at how the face structure and expressions are changing when they're watching the ad. So the twitching of a muscle, the widening of eyes, or a hint of a smile, all of this indicate how they're, when you say revolution, then obviously they're sitting up and watching it with interest, right? So the eyes are lighting up, or eyes are widening, or if there's sparkling going on the skin, or they're looking at with great deal of interest. So they're probably leaning forward and watching it with a great deal of interest. All of that emotional stuff is easily read by the machine, the computer, using the technique called facial coding technique. And we've used this quite effectively not for all ads, but ads where we think it will play a role on their facial expression. So we've done that also in the past. And you get to understand the visual elements of appeal of different elements in the ad, emotional engagement, which parts are liked, which parts are not liked, and we get a total balance score, as it's called, total net score. So it will give you another depth of understanding of response to the ad. So that takes care of the third one. Now I move into the fourth one. This is one of my favorites. It's natural and exotic care. Years ago when we talked to consumers, they always said, yeah, we should use natural products in your skin because natural is harmless. Yeah, and there are no chemicals, like you rightly said at the beginning. Nature means no chemicals, nothing bad. Yeah, but I think we moved from just expecting safety from natural to much more from nature. So today what the audience is doing is they're expecting not regular natural fruit and leaves and that so they're expecting much more exotic stuff. There's an increasing demand for products that are potent, powerful, but natural. And here you have in Indonesia, especially, there are lots of these products from Bali and from Korea and from other markets, which talk about, some of these things you've never heard of. You've heard of mushrooms and deep sea salts and wine and clay, and there's so many wonderful things that people are talking about, and I don't know if you recognize any of this, Messi. I don't know. These are become more buzz in the market. Different brands are using different kinds of almost mythical narratives to celebrate what they're made of. So yeah, so that's I think the trend was started by Korea and it's caught up by all the other brands as well. So you have to have rare exotic ingredients, which makes the story compelling, which makes the whole thing much more encouraging for them to use distinctive special qualities. So we've taken when we do the quantitative study, 38%, that's a lot, believe that exotic natural ingredients are effective. 40% are expecting brands to have these natural exotic ingredients. So when we present these things like caviar and wine and clay and all that, we always wonder, do the people notice? Do they remember? Do they understand? If you're displaying it on the packaging or advertising, do they really recognize it? Or do they associate your brand with that particular exotic ingredient? So if you have to really do that kind of research, then you probably have to do, let's take an example of this particular brand. This is Innisfree. As you can see that they are talking about volcanic clay, and in the packaging they have that volcanic sort of icons on the packaging. But the important thing to ask ourselves is, do people remember? Do they understand? Is it a point of interest to them or not in the packaging? And which is where eye tracking comes into play. Eye tracking tells you which part of the packaging are you looking at, which parts of the packaging are you ignoring. And in this case, clearly the brand name, the clay pictures are doing the job, and they're understood and they're recognized, and a lot of time is spent on those compared to the rest of it. So yeah, the eye tracking will tell you, which parts. Is it really the volcanic clay? Is it the hero element in your packaging or not? So those are kind of things that you get through the use of technology, which is eye tracking in this case. Then I move forward into the next one. I think this is our last. We completed 4 trends now. This is our last trend, and it's also another very interesting trend which we noticed. Here, earlier, if you had done work some years ago, women in Indonesia always said, oh, I want white skin, I want fair skin. So, but nowadays, I think the people are saying, no, but that white skin is very pale, it looks artificial, I don't want that kind of skin. So now there's a Korean pop culture, everybody wants the skin to look like the Korean beautiful women they see in the series, and here the Korean, and then they're also saying it's like, yeah, I'm born with the skin color that God gave me. It's not about becoming fair. If I'm dark skinned, doesn't mean that I'm bad, but it's the question of how do you make sure the dark skin is flawless and glowing. So they're moving away from whitening to the lots of words like brightening and I think glowing being used. And you can Messi, tell me what does mean in Bahasa? What does brightening mean in Bahasa? How do you say it? Translate it for me.
So brightening is mencerahkan, while whitening is memutihkan. So basically brightening is makes your skin looks natural glow, repair the dark spot, the hyperpigmentation, but without changing your skin tone. While for whitening, it's like makes your skin tone change. It's like putting a white color into your skin tone. So it's not. It's more. It's not. It's less natural, actually.
Yeah, correct.
So it's changed.
So whitening means less natural, right? The more artificial, whereas brightening or glowing means more natural. So people, as I said, people are moving towards natural beauty, and in that context, I think the glamour is around brightening or glowing or radiance. Skin needs to glow from within. It's the evidence of the skin being healthy from within. Now, how is your marketing? Are you doing all your marketing elements have to communicate the idea of glowing or brightening? Now, how do you do that? And again, this is something I'll give you an example of very soon. But here, I just wanted to say one of the topmost trends is the Korean trend, and Korean beauty-inspired products, glowing and whitening, that's 31%. And there's a 16% growth in Korean-inspired beauty products in the past 2 years. 47% of the consumers prefer to have bright, radiant skin, and they're put off by the idea of white and fair skin. So whiteness, fairness creams are a bit of a past. What you're looking for is glowing and brightening skincare items. So, so the way they have named this product is also called a glow maker. Yeah, you see the packaging. All of that is also has that shimmering shine around it. It is from something which is a popular brand. It does a lot of it's good for beginners with sensitive skin. It is supposed to make the skin, like you said, it's supposed to make the skin feel cleaner, smoother, healthier, and therefore glows. Okay. And gives you this results in 30 days. So when we do this, let's take Glow Maker product, okay, for example, and then we pass it through the test of EEG. You'll see that it is nothing much in terms of anticipatory. When I say anticipatory, before they try the product, what did they feel about the product? When they looked at the product before they used it, it was fine, it was okay. And actually, SK2 product in this case wasn't getting top results at that point. But when you did the study after using on the skin, it did much better than the competition products. So overall, therefore, the product may not seem so great at the beginning, but when they used it, they found better results. So for the brand, the task was also how to make them feel good about even before they try it. What should they, if it says it says radiant product or glowing, it gives you glowing benefit, maybe you should add something to the product which makes them feel like it's got that shine to it or the gloss to it. Perhaps the product didn't have that gloss. Perhaps it looked like creamy like any other product. Maybe it was more milky rather than shiny, So maybe semiotically, we must create that anticipation of glow or brightening, even at the level of, looking and smelling the product, even before it's tried on. After they tried on, they got good results, but before they tried on, they did not get as much favorable results. So it's important to create that positive anticipation even at the start. So, so I have examples here, the same SK2 example, and I'm sure the lady on the right side here, you know her, right? What's the name you said, Messi?
Anggun.
Yeah, who's Anggun now?
Actually, she's a popular singer, I think, but now she lives in France.
Right. Okay. She's a popular, talented singer. She lives in France.
She's from Indonesia.
Yeah, but of course of Indonesian origin. And she's called the masterpiece, right? Basically, they've created this whole notion around the product, like it's like the mastered the whole idea of glow or brightening. And so they've used the sand here. In this case, in the picture on the left side, you see there's a shimmering sort of sand like thing around in the background. It's like a desert. And then there's a thumb imprint, which is basically saying it's the imprint of quality. It's like a masterpiece. It's like the very best. It's the ultimate, and what they say is that it's created a cult, almost like a cult in some of the other markets in the Western world. It's not, people really say that it's like a must have, like in, even in and it's a masterpiece. It's like a holy grail, right? In the Christian religion, Christianity, holy grail is like, it's a solution to all your problems, So what it's doing is it's communicating visible benefits of brightness, softness, anti-aging properties, and the ever elusive glow, which is the holy grail. It's elusive. So they've created that sort of narrative, and it is working quite well for them. So something very closer to our own country, Indonesia. This is another brand, again from Scarlett. You can see the name they gave, glow toning serum. Glow toning, they use a word of play, like glowing and brightening, glow toning. So obviously these brands have recognized this is a trend, and they're trying to capitalize on that particular trend. So that completes our the last trend. So I just want to see from the audience if they notice these trends themselves from their experience, and which of these trends do they think is the biggest that they've seen happening in the market. So only one answer is possible on this poll.
Okay, so I will launch the poll.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can choose among these 5 trends. Okay, I think everyone have give their answer, so I will. Okay,
So skin protection is highest, right?
okay, let me
Yeah.
share the result. Yes, you're right, actually, Sriram.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So there's some divided response, but I think overall we got skin protection followed by skin minimalism, followed by glow for glamour, and then the remaining ones. Okay. So yeah, these trends, firstly, quantitatively, you'll have to see which one is the biggest trend and you measure it quantitatively. And then you should also say, oh, is it worthwhile going after that trend? Okay. You can stop stop sharing and then let's go to the next slide. Did you stop?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, sorry, what happened? Okay. Sorry, you can see the screen, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, just one final slide on conclusions and concluding thoughts. This trend spotting, I mean, like the previous poll, there were a couple of them which were better than higher than the others. But remember that the trend is in the beginning part, right? It's not about which trend is big or which trend is small. Sometimes a smaller trend might take over and become a big movement in the future. So it's very important for us to keep our eyes and ears open and really listen to what is going on in the market. You know, that's really very important for any brand manager, you know, because they have to be on top of a trend. And the brand needs to be ahead of the curve, you know, and you know, should be leading the trend. So that's one thing. But remember, trend is different from the way in market research or marketing. And, you know, there's a difference between trend and fad. A fad is a fashion which will come and go. The trend will last a longer time. So, for example, if you say in the pandemic, if you talk about somebody says, oh, work from home is becoming it's a fad, you know, like, oh, pandemic has gone away, people come back to the office. But actually it's not a fad, right? Because people are still don't want to come back to the office. Therefore it's become a trend. So work from home has become a trend and no more just limited to pandemic, because it's tapping into the more fundamental human need, the need to be at home, the need to be doing more than one thing at a time, the need to not want to get caught in the traffic. Maybe the need is also about saying, I want to work more effectively, or just saying that, you know, I want focus and things like that. So people are actually choosing those as being important for the work. And then they're saying working from home is better than working from office. So then it started off as a pandemic fad, but it became a sustainable trend. So that's the point number 2. You should recognize that a trend is a trend when it taps into more fundamental need, which is going to be there for some time. The third thing is you have to analyze these trends, which means that you have to analyze the competition in the market, understand what you could do as a brand. Of course, all of that means that you have to do market research. Now here again, the point we were making earlier is that we rely a lot on focus group discussions and depth interviews, which is fine. You know, the traditional research is very important, but we need to combine it with the more advanced tools and techniques, not necessarily technology, but it could be technology plus something else. But however, try and use the advanced methods plus the more traditional ones, complement the traditional and the more advanced ones for a richer insight. So that's sort of is the 4 key things that we wanted to communicate besides the trends themselves. So that concludes the webinar. Just one last question for you, and it's not a poll really, and we're not going to publish it. Actually, we've seen in the market that there are more than 5 trends. We have many more trends, and we don't have the time to talk about these in this 1 hour webinar. So in case you're interested, we are very happy to talk you through the details with your team and your other marketing team members. Do let us know if you want us to come over and talk to you, and we're very happy to do that. So
Sriram, there is one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, this is anonymous. Does Neuroscience conduct face coding data collection without a physical gadget, like using a software I'm asking this as some users might prefer to participate the research virtually.
Yeah, this can be done. Yeah, nowadays eye tracking can be done, say, for example, remotely. You don't have to. They don't have to come to a place to do. You just have to. They'll be given a link and they'll log into it, and eye tracking can be done remotely as well. Product test, however, in this product test, because they have to wear a device. Like EEG, they have to wear a device, right? So that requires the person to be available with you physically. Facial coding also can be done remotely. So facial coding, eye tracking, these are a couple of things that can be remotely done. Product test, use of EEGs at the moment with the help of a device, which means that we have to meet them physically. So, but those devices are small, right? So even if you're doing work in Surabaya, wherever you are, you can carry those devices with you and do work in Surabaya. But yeah, it still has to have a physical contact for that to happen. Yeah.
Okay, there is another question. Is the 5 sense approach applicable to other products besides beauty products? Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything. I mean, nowadays, a lot of what we're doing is first a lot to do with the senses, like eating chips. The bag of chips, the crackling sound, the way you pack it, and the way the packaging feels, the way the crisps feel in your mouth as you eat. And besides the taste, it's not just tongue-led taste, right? It's also about the way it feels in the mouth feel, the aftertaste, the way it feels when you're eating it and holding it. All of that makes a lot of difference. That's true with beverages also, right? There are some beverages which a lot of it's to do with the smell and the fragrance. It's not just the taste. They say taste is only a small part of the experience. A lot of that is also combined with fragrance, and that fragrance and the taste and the flavor and the color and everything, makes a lot of difference. So if you say chlorophyll drink is green in color, right? Or if you say orange drink, it has to be deep orange or bright orange or transparent orange. Should it have fruit sacs? Should it be transparent? All of this make a lot of difference. So yeah, typical 5 senses is something that is now any product or a brand that is playing on the sensory experience, you have to use it. Cigarettes, food products, beverages, perfumes, fragrances. I think even in the case of detergent also, yeah, you'll see that, does it have those stain busting particles within it? How is the smell of this detergent or this fabric conditioner? All of that also is sensory. So yes, it goes beyond just beauty. It stretches across all categories. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone would like to ask question? You can raise your hand as well. Seems none. Okay, so I think now we can do the last poll. So I will launch the poll. Okay. Yeah. Okay, you can choose your answer. Do you want us to present this learning to a wider marketing team in your company? Okay, Sriram, I think everyone has given their answer, so we can close this webinar, I think.
Yeah.
It's already 3.
So yeah, sorry for the initial hiccups. We are apologies for that, and thanks for your patience. So we have my name and Messi's name. We'll be sending you a soft format or link to this webinar, and you can watch it at leisure. And some parts are interesting. You could contact us. Our names are there. Our addresses are there at the bottom. Thank you very much for your time and your patience, and apologies for the delays and the glitches in technology. Thank you very much.
Thank you.